Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker Studio in Fort Collins, Colorado, and supported by the Music District, a music-centric gathering place to cultivate talents, support professional development, and encourage connections. Welcome to Live at Lunch. I'm your host today, David V. Live at Lunch is brought to you from the Ginger and Baker Studio here at KRFC 88.9 FM radio from Colorado, for Colorado, and the world. We've got very special guests today that I'm glad to introduce. Woodbelly.
It was just a four-room house on the side of old Highway 18. I remember seeing Mom doing clothes in her ringer-style machine. Daddy worked all day in the field just to pay the bills, while me and brother sold red worms right down from the Ozark Hill. For 50 years that house stood around. I drove by today, it's just empty ground. Even though it's still a sleepy Delta town, lately they've been tearing the old places down. It's a house where my first guitar was strung, sitting all day on the front porch, picking in a hot Delta sun. Tried to keep us boys in line. I wish I could go back to Mom, hanging clothes on the old clothesline. For 50 years that house stood around. I drove by today, it's just empty ground. Even though it's still a sleepy Delta town, lately they've been tearing the old places down. Stood around. I drove by today, it's just empty ground. Even though it's still a sleepy Delta town, lately they've been tearing the old places down. Down, 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 down. Down, down.
Woodbelly here on Live at Lunch, doing Old Home, tune off your brand new album, Great Big Skies. When's that coming out, guys?
That is coming out on June 3rd.
And where can people find that?
They can find it everywhere you find your music. It'll be on Spotify, all the other streaming platforms, our website, Americana Vibes, the label we're releasing through. They'll have it on their website.
What is your website?
woodbellymusic.com.
There you go. We've had the pleasure of having you guys into the Live at Lunch studios a couple of times, and it's always a fantastic time having Woodbelly in. Why don't you tell us a little bit, Aaron, we'll start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got together, how you met?
The original band members met at the Rocky Grass Festival, actually, picking in the campground. It was Chris here on the mandolin and Craig and Sheena Patterson, who started playing. They have since started a family and moved on from the heavy gigging life. But they met there. They picked up Chris Zink, our dobro player, at the Rapid Grass Festival a few weeks later, and The rest of us came in, within the next couple of years.
What was there a particular musician or style of bluegrass that initially brought you guys together? I mean, you've got to me, and my ear, you sound a little bit more traditional than a lot of the other Colorado artists that are playing bluegrass these days. So are you influenced more by the Kentucky vibe, or?
I don't know that we ever picked a genre to be in. We just started playing music, and this is how it came out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
More of a traditional sound?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
If you went to Kentucky and said, what does Woodbelly sound like to you? They would not say it's a traditional bluegrass band.
Of course. They're snobs. Bluegrass snobs.
Yeah, they would kick us out. Sure.
So to some people, we're progressive. And then out here, where there's a lot of progressive, newer kinds of acoustic music, we're kind of more of a traditional band. But I just consider us to have a Woodbelly sound, really.
Where'd you record the new album at, Great Big Skies?
We recorded it at the Crossroads Studio in Brevard, North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah, we got
North
in the
Carolina
van,
sound, huh?
Yeah, about a year ago, and drove out there. The producer we worked with, John Weisberger, works there at that studio a lot, and it was a fantastic experience. We loved working.
I was just going to say, how did it feel to be out there and recording, and the vibe and the influences? Was it just you guys? Did you have any other musicians from the area come in and sit in?
Nope, it was just us, and it felt great to go somewhere, to be out of our usual space and just be there. We're here for 10 days and we're making music.
Right.
And that felt awesome to just have kind of one goal rather than in the studio and then you go home, and which is great too, but to be able to just sort of focus on the one goal was really cool.
So you put out Solid Ground in 2018. And, of course, you won at Telluride Bluegrass that year, and then you got Momentum Band of the Year from the International Bluegrass Musicians Association. That must have been pretty rewarding.
Yeah, we were nominated for the award that year. It was super exciting.
And then Man on the Radio came out January 2000. Of course, we all know what happened in 2000
And
with COVID.
yeah.
What did you guys do to cope with that? I mean, you couldn't tour to support the album. Did you do online video?
We made some videos. We did play as much as we could. That's when we started playing with Tom Knowlton, our guitar player now. Man, it was really hard. We didn't really know what to do, what the right path was, and it's hard to make a lot of content when you don't have income coming in. So we did what we could, and yeah, we played as much as we could.
Hunkered down, wrote some songs?
Yep, did a lot of writing in 2020.
Speaking of songs, let's get into some more music from the brand new album, Great Big Skies. Are you going to play Angel? Is there a story behind this one?
Yeah. This is written. I hiked the Appalachian Trail some years ago, in 2013, and that's actually where I learned to play mandolin. I took a mandolin with me, threw it on my back.
On the trail while you're hiking?
Yeah. Yeah. Guitar was too big, so I always wanted to play mandolin. What better place than 6 months in the woods?
Yeah.
You know?
In the Appalachians.
Yeah.
Did you find other people to jam with on the trail?
Not as many as I would think. There's one guy with a guitar named String Bean. No,
Was he from Hee Haw?
He had the banjo. Southbound had the guitar. Shout out to Southbound and String Bean if you're watching.
All right.
But no, I didn't get to jam too much. I was just noodling. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just kind of I knew mandolin was inverted guitar, so I just took guitar songs I knew and switched it around and played
easier
the
to
birds
tune.
and,
GDAE.
Yeah, but on the trail, there's a string of people that live nearby that are just kind of dedicate their time to helping hikers along, whether that's a cooler full of refreshments or a ride somewhere or a meal or a place to stay. We call them trail angels, and it's a beautiful community of people that are just there to help you along your way. And so I wrote this song kind of dedicated to them because I don't know if I could have done it without the help of certain people that
Oh, that's
that
a great
really
story.
picked me up when I was having some bad times. So
And what was your trail name?
I was Thumper.
Thumper, Chris Thumper.
Yep, that's it. And actually, I wrote this really slow when we were hashing out songs for the new album. I played this song a couple times with some of the guys, and they thought it'd be cool to throw it on the album, but I was like, I don't know, it's kind of slow. It doesn't feel like a Woodbelly song. And then Aaron was just like, what if we just double time it, double the speed? And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thunder in the valley, clapping through the trees. I'm wondering what road I took that got me stranded here. I might need an angel, get me through the night. Looking on the bright side, but I can't find the light. Black clouds over yonder, no end in sight. I might need an angel, lift that weight I've held. And all I ever wanted was a chance to be free. Maybe someday you come and rescue me. I feel the cold, cold water falling down from the sky, and it won't be long before the river washes me by. Taking all the high roads, thinking it might help stifle all the bad dreams and omens I have felt. I might need an angel, lift that weight I've held. And all I ever wanted was a chance to be free. Maybe someday you come and rescue me. I feel the cold, cold water falling down from the sky, and it won't be long before the river washes me by. Stare across the mountain, watch the fog roll by, thinking about jumping, just ain't got the time. I might need an angel, teach me how to fly. And all I ever wanted was a chance to be free. Maybe someday you'll come and rescue me. I feel the cold, cold water falling down from the sky, and it won't be long before the river washes me by.
Angel by Woodbelly here on Live at Lunch. That's a nice one, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
I think the decision to double speed that was correct.
Yeah, it's funny. We had sent out the albums, the Kickstarter backer albums already, and I'm getting some feedback from people. And a friend texted me the other day because she was a songwriting partner of mine, and she knew it the other way and was kind of blown away of the juxtaposition of them.
So where's everybody from here? Are you all in the same town or you're spread out on the Front Range?
Right now, we all live on the Front Range. Me and Tom live in Fort Collins, and Taylor's in Lyons, Zink's in Loveland, and Aaron's in Berthoud. So not
too far apart,
but we all have our little corners.
So Tom Knowlton on guitar. And you're in Lyons. Lyons is really starting to get a pretty massive music scene and vibe going on there for having so little population.
Yeah, it is. Taylor's actually from there, but I live here in Fort Collins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, heck of a music scene going on there.
Really popping off right now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Those main grasses that Emma Rose has been putting together have been really cool. Kind of a really neat experiment to just put 5 hand-picked random or somewhat random musicians together, and nobody knows what's going to happen, and it's a really cool way to just
And where's that at?
that happens at Main Stage in Lyons, which is a new brewery that just opened up, it's a really neat kind of experiment.
Fresh way to jam and
totally
get together and meet new musicians.
Yeah, there's always sit-ins.
Collaborate.
I was sitting in last night on bass, and it's a great community there. So, really neat thing.
Beautiful little town. Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask since we're talking here, I'm going to ask you a little bit, Taylor, about your influences. What got you into the bass originally?
Let's see. I was into everything. I was in jam bands. I played in a jungle funk band all through college, and then I kind of picked up the upright by way of underground hip hop. I think was the first. I was
Seriously?
like, you know what, this is really neat, and and then slowly kind of got into bluegrass through Yonder and some of the Colorado jam brass bands, and then so I got the upright around the age of 21, so about 10 years ago.
So it wasn't picked up in high school for orchestra or whatever?
Nope, I'm of the YouTube Academy.
Are all you guys self-taught?
Yeah, I mean, I took drum lessons for a long time, but that doesn't really do much for me.
I played trumpet in 7th grade, too. That counts.
I'm not self-taught. I mean, I think to some extent we all are, but I took a lot of lessons. I went to music school in West Texas for a couple of years, too.
I talked to so many bluegrass musicians here in Colorado who went to universities and colleges in West Texas for bluegrass. So that must be the mecca for college bluegrass.
I think it was for a little while. Bonnie and Taylor Sims
Yep,
both went there.
exactly.
Alex Johnstone, Chris Elliott, we all were there. All were there together, actually. It was quite a time.
All right. Well, hopefully it's moving up here a little bit more.
Yeah, we're all up here.
Yeah, there you go. Well, all right. So Kinda Blue's the next tune. And again, that's from your brand new album, Great Big Skies, coming out here June 3rd. And in addition to that, June 3rd, you are going to be at the Marquee Theater in Denver. That's a Friday. Should be a great show. June 8th, you'll be at Steamboat Snow Bowl on Wednesday. I'm not familiar. Is that up on the mountain?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. And then June 10th, Friday, going to be at Brews Ale House in Pueblo. That's a new one to me. And July 2nd, you're going to be at the Mish with Leftover Salmon on a Saturday. Now, that's going to be fun, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And it's worth noting on June 3rd, we're with our friends Buffalo Commons, who are super fun. If anyone
at the Marquee
likes, bluegrass-ish music, they're really fun.
Well, we all like bluegrass-ish music. All right, so let's hear Kinda Blue.
If you need another tune, I'll be in Chattanooga. Chances are I'll have an old guitar too. Good old honest Joe, got no name, got no future, plain to see. Blame it all on me, it's that kind of blue. If you need to make a wish, I'll be in West Virginia. Chances are some little place up in the hills. A little banjo on the breeze, a little fiddle by the river. Just a cold dark night, not much else. That kind of blue ain't got no cure. Kind of blue is blue for sure. All used up, put aside, nobody's seen it. That kind of blue is blue and more. Kind of blue is at your door. Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it. Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it. If you need to say a prayer, I'll be in Arizona. Chances are there's trouble in mine. Look right in his face and laugh at old man Winter. Raise a glass of burgundy wine. That kind of blue ain't got no cure. Kind of blue is blue for sure. All used up, but aside, nobody's seen it. That kind of blue is blue and more. Kind of blue is at your door. Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it. Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it. If you need to call again, I'll be in California. Chances are some little place right off the beach. Walking with the sun and talking to the ocean, just about one waves away from outer reach. That kind of blue ain't got no cure. Kind of blue is blue for sure. All used up, put aside, nobody's seen it. That kind of blue is blue and more. Kind of blue is at your door. Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it. Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it.
Kiss a boy goodbye like you mean it. Sounds kind of personal, kind of blue.
That's a Burl song. I don't know if you know Benny Galloway or Burl.
Mm-hmm.
We worked with him on that one and another song on the album.
He's a lyricist?
Yes, songwriter, musician, butcher. Which is everything.
Butcher of meats, not of meats.
Not of humans.
Let's clarify
Not of
that.
humans.
He is. He's written songs for everybody from Yonder Mountain to Del McCurry and Sam Bush and lots of songs for the infamous String Duster. So we were thrilled to have worked with him on a couple.
Speaking of Del McCurry and some of these others, you guys have opened for a lot of great artists. Why don't you list a few?
Yeah, Del McCurry most recently in the fall was a real treat. We all got to meet him backstage.
He's
for a
kind of
minute.
the king right now, isn't he? He's really considered the king of
I
bluegrass.
think and you can
He
just
and his
feel
boys.
it when you're in the room with him. It just
I've
feels
heard
like
that
you're
from
hanging
other
out with the
people
king.
too.
Yeah.
And he's also pretty benevolent and very with his time and pretty
super kind and like happy to meet all of us and take a picture and talk about his guitar with us, and yeah, a super cool guy.
It's like meeting the grandpa you never knew you had.
So, what are some of the other acts that you guys have had the pleasure of playing with?
Let's see.
Steel Drivers.
Yeah. Go
Oh yeah,
Oh, now I'm on the spot.
no problem.
I mean, Telluride, we were on.
You get to meet quite a few there.
Yeah, we saw Bela Fleck and Chris Thiele behind the scenes.
Chris Thiele.
Yeah.
So are you guys back in Telluride again this year or no?
No.
Just too busy playing other places.
That's right.
All right. Well, while we hear some tuning going on here, Tom, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You're one of the newer additions to the band.
Yeah, I joined in May of 2020, I believe. Yeah, I think that's when we got.
That's kind of hard to join a band in the middle of a.
Yeah, it was tough. I didn't
Epidemic.
get to shake these guys' hands right away.
It's all elbow bumping. What did you listen to growing up?
A lot of bluegrass with my dad. My
Oh, yeah?
dad played a lot of music too, so.
Where'd you
old
grow up
country
at?
With him. I grew up in Wyoming.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then I also grew up in Arkansas too, because parents lived in different places. So.
And so would you say he was your influence that got you interested in bluegrass?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Does he play?
Yeah.
Does he play guitar also?
He plays anything with strings.
Oh really?
His passion was the steel guitar and the fiddle.
Nice.
Yeah, he actually wrote a couple of these songs that we're playing today.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm sure he appreciates you doing his music. All right. Well, let's see. That was kind of blue. Bluebird's the next one. We're on a blue theme here.
That's right.
Songs from the brand new album, Great Big Skies by Woodbelly. Is there a little story behind this or just a bluegrass feel of the Bluebird?
This is one I wrote a long time ago. That when we were kind of working up songs for this album, I've kind of got quite a few that were in the back pocket and showed to our producer, and he really liked this one. So it's about being with somebody who needs to go take some time for themselves and get away from things. So kind of tells itself. This one's called Bluebird. Said she's leaving in the morning, heading for those mountain peaks, finding friends and wildflowers and solace in the trees. She said she'll put it all behind her and forget this busy life, spread her wings toward a gust of wind, take off to the sky. So blow, wind blow, blow my bluebird home, through the rain and snow, the wind will guide you home. Wherever you may roam. searching for some peace of mind. And any day she'll come home pining for this heart of mine. When the sun's on the horizon, I'll see her coming down the road with the light in her eyes and the light load. Feeling free from the places you have flown. So blow, wind blow, blow my bluebird home through the rain and snow. The wind will guide you home. Wherever you may roam.
Bluebird by Woodbelly here on KRFC 88.9 FM's Live at Lunch. All right, so it looks like you're spreading it around. Everybody contributes to the songwriting. Everybody sings a tune. Pretty diplomatic, and it's nice to see.
That's right. We're going to actually do one now by our banjo player, Aaron McCloskey.
And I don't want to say it's obligatory, but it seems like every Colorado bluegrass band has to have a song called Telluride.
Yeah, this one's actually called Telluride Jubilee, and it's just a happy, pretty little instrumental tune that I wrote. And a lot of times for me, it's easier to write the song than to come up with the name for it. And this was just, I don't even know where this came from. I didn't come up with these words, but someone else called it Telluride Jubilee, and that's
it stuck.
and it fits it well.
Well, and for people who aren't from Colorado, haven't had the pleasure of going to Telluride Bluegrass and Telluride Blues, why don't you guys speak just a little bit about the experience? I mean, everybody I usually talk to about it mentions the jams at nighttime and being around campfires and hanging out with people in the campsites and meeting new people, new musicians. Was that your experience too?
Yeah, man, Telluride it'd be really hard not to have an amazing weekend going to the Telluride Bluegrass Festival. It's all the best bands. It's most of the people in the Colorado bluegrass scene like to hang out and camp and pick, and it's not quite the jamming festival that Rocky Grass is over in Lyons, but it's still a big part of it, and it's a blast.
And speaking of Rocky Grass, when is it this year?
It's usually the last weekend of July.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's hear Woodbelly.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Woodbilly here on Live at Lunch. That was pretty. I like that one. I'm sure you guys, when you're playing live out in concert, you probably really start jamming on that one and let it go. Or is that it?
That one's usually a pretty tight arrangement,
Is it?
actually. We should look into that. Yeah. David was feeling it. We should maybe look into that.
Let's say everybody can cut loose on that one here.
We've been starting to stretch a little more with a lot of songs more than we used to, but not that one just yet.
Well, it's a lot of stuff going on in there too, so that's great. Well, I'm going to speak with Chris Zink now on dobro.
Yes, sir.
And where are you from, Chris?
I'm from Nicholasville, Kentucky.
No kidding.
Yep.
What brought you out to Colorado?
I just, I loved Colorado, and a friend of mine was moving out here, and I was in school at UK at the time, and he wanted me to come out with him, and I was like, no, I want to finish up my degree. And then like a week before he moved out here, I was like, you know what? I'm coming with you, man. So I basically loaded up the Camry and just came out here and dropped out of school and just came up and lived in the mountains for a couple, or
Really?
actually about a month
Where
in a
at?
tent. Up around Pingree Park.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah,
And we
not too
found
far
jobs
outside of
in
Fort
town.
Collins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We found jobs in town. Worked at Lone Star Steakhouse, and which was like an hour drive into town. But yeah, we made it work, and here I am.
And how'd you get into the dobro? We spoke a little bit before. You were originally a guitarist.
Yeah. I started playing guitar, and then I kind of picked up mandolin from guitar, and then started playing banjo. And then in like what?
Couldn't decide what you liked,
2012,
huh?
Yeah, I was just like kind of,
Bouncing
playing
around to find the right
everything,
thing?
you know? Yeah, and then somewhere around 2010 or something, I got my taxes back, and I went with a buddy down to the Pick and Parlor in Denver, and he was looking for a new guitar, and I picked up a dobro, and I wasn't intending on buying anything, and I just kind of bought it that day and have been playing it ever since. So
Felt natural to you, huh?
yeah, just kind of, I don't know if natural, I mean,
But you were drawn to the sound,
yeah,
obviously.
I was pretty bad at the beginning for sure. But
It's not that easy an instrument to originally pick up and just play because
what
you
I
want
try to tell these guys. Yeah.
you want to you want to press down on the strings, and that's like a guitar, and you don't
That's
really
right.
do that with the dobro.
That's right. Yeah, it's all about the light touch. Sally Van Meter tried to tell me that a bunch of times, and I tried.
Finally, you started listening to her.
I try to listen to her, but it's hard.
All right. So, what did you listen to growing up?
I listened to I guess when I was young, I listened to a lot of hip hop. Actually, just like Taylor
Honestly.
over here. So maybe that's what.
That's surprising. The only reason I say that is I speak to so many pickers who tell me, of course, a lot say I listened to bluegrass growing up because of my parents or whatever, like Tom. And a lot of people say I listen to metal, speed metal.
Right.
And I said, how the heck do you go from speed metal to bluegrass? And they said, it's the speed of picking. It just translates.
I've
So
always heard bluegrass is just metal for hippies.
I'll have to remember that.
I believe it.
Bluegrass for
But
him.
yeah, I actually got into metal a little bit too. So,
Well, there you go.
But I always kind of liked the acoustic songs, and then I think it was Old and in the Way that I listened to first in bluegrass, and just kind of opened the floodgates for me.
So many people listen to Old and in the Way. That's what brought them in. They love the Dead. They love Garcia.
Exactly.
Old and in the Way. Well, Woodbilly will be playing June 3rd at the Marquee Theater in Denver on a Friday. June 8th, Wednesday, at the Steamboat Snow Bowl, I'm sorry. And then June 10th, Friday, at Brule's Ale House in Pueblo. And, of course, July 2nd, Saturday, Mishawaka with Leftover Salmon, which I'm sure is going to be a fantastic show. Aren't they playing 2 nights there, too?
They are, yeah. They're
But you're
Friday,
playing
Saturday. We're on Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, what inspires you guys to write? Because it's obvious that you're drawn from everybody in the band, which is great to see. It's not like, okay, one guy's coming in and here's my music and we're going to do my music, So you guys definitely have a group sound and feel to yourselves. How when you get together and write, what inspires you? How do you work it out?
Usually it's somebody kind of writes a song on their own, probably on guitar, and then brings it to the band, kind of bare bones, and then we kind of work it up. It goes through the Woodbilly filter, where Aaron will add a bunch of nonsense chords to it that actually make the song better.
Nonsense chords.
It's like, how would a B minor sound over that? So we'll just kind of like get everyone's input on how to kind of craft the song. Lyrically, we don't really do much co-writing. There might be like a line here or there where the group will kind of help put into place. But for the most part, lyrics are kind of done, verses are done.
So each person's pretty much open to the input of the rest of the band, it sounds like.
Yeah, the person who wrote the song usually has a slightly, more of a priority on their opinion, I guess. But no, it's pretty open. We try to throw all kinds of ideas around, and yeah, when we put together an album, it's just kind of like we map it out. We just tell ourselves we want to make the most dynamic album possible. We want some fast songs, we want some slow songs, we want some instrumentals, and then we just kind of start putting that puzzle together. Like, what songs do you have? And we just kind of like piece them together and try to make an album that we think kind of full spectrum, like, musicality.
And it was cool working with John on this, because it was nice to have an outside perspective of, just kind of the neutral guy, like, hey, this is what I like and what I think. And so that kind of helped a lot too when we were putting this album together.
On the first two albums, did you produce it yourselves?
The first one we did. The second one, we worked with Sally Van Meter from Lions, and she helped with similar input too. It seemed like on this last one we had more material going into it, though, so there was sort of more, well, we want this one and not this one. Than the first
So you culled it down. You have some songs in reserve here for the next album, huh?
We probably have enough for the next album now.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
we probably started with 20 songs or something, and
Wow.
then kind of cut it down.
Do you play any of those songs that aren't on the album live?
Yeah,
Great.
lots of them. Some of the shows are 60-minute sets. Some of them are 2 75-minute sets. So it depends on which one you're at. But we'll play the new album and stuff from old albums and stuff that's not recorded too.
All right. And people can hear that June 3rd at the Marquee Theater in Denver. That's right. All right. So Driving Rain. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory, but maybe there's something behind that title that I don't know about.
This is another Appalachian Trail.
Oh, you were on the trail and it was raining, huh?
Yeah, it was raining in the Smokies. Basically, got caught in a 2-week rainstorm, and it didn't dry off for a long time.
For a week, probably.
Yeah, that's what this is about.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Gonna lay my body down underneath these pines. I'm shortchanged, a little rearranged, but I got you on my mind. Rolling round East Tennessee with an aching in my bones. I'm climbing high, but I'm feeling low. You're where I need to go. Through the driving rain, I'm headed on my way. And I know I may get by your side someday. A wicked spell and some cheap hotels. I'm pining through and through. You are the stars shining above the clouds, and I'll and I know I may it by your side someday.
Driving rain, we've had a little bit lately, haven't we, huh? Thank God we're not all camping and hiking in it, huh?
Yeah, we had a little bit. I'd take some more.
That's for sure. The Front Range needs it, huh?
It does.
All right. I was going to ask just more of a personal question, you guys. Obviously, a lot of musicians had a personal influence or a mentor growing up. And it sounds like with Tom, for instance, it was his father influencing him with bluegrass. How about you, Aaron?
I didn't hear bluegrass until I was like 20 years old.
Seriously?
I'd never even heard of it
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up outside of Boston.
Okay, that's understandable.
There's a big scene there now, actually. Berkeley
that
has a bluegrass
surprises.
program,
I think
and it's
anybody
great for
listening would be surprised to hear that.
I grew up, my parents have great taste in music. Somehow I avoided that when I was growing up. They love Bob Dylan and classic songwriters and, you know, the old Rolling Stones records and
Gotta love the Stones.
Yeah. It's those old classic recordings. When I grew up in high school also listening to hip hop, and I don't know that I ever really liked it, but my friends said that they did, so I listened to it too, and actually made a mixed CD once called Thuggin' in Lexington. Yeah.
Lexington and
My
Concord.
college friends saw that. I grew up in Lexington, and they were like, dude, are you serious with this? What are you talking about? That's a really nice suburb. What's wrong with you? And then in college, I started listening to really good music. I actually had a Bob Dylan radio show at the campus station called Bob in the Afternoon. So for 2 hours every Tuesday.
Just had a birthday 3 days ago?
Yeah.
81?
Yep. And then met a couple friends who turned me on to some jam bands, and one of them gave me the Pizza Tapes, which had Tony Rice and Jerry Garcia and David Grisman, and that was the first time I heard Tony Rice. And I'd started playing guitar like a couple months before that, and my life, I don't know that I had a big direction before that, but like just was like, that's what I want to do. I want to play guitar like that.
And you say guitar, but now you're on banjo.
Yeah, they made me do it.
How'd that U-turn happen?
I played guitar for a long time, and when I was in music school in Texas, Alan Mundy, a really amazing teacher and player, was teaching there. And the second year, I decided to take some banjo lessons just because I was in the same building as Alan Mundy for 2 years. I figured I should study some banjo. But when I moved back to Colorado after that, I was a working guitar player for a long time, played in bluegrass bands and country bands and rock bands, and would dabble on banjo at jams, but the Woodbelly guys asked if I wanted to play banjo, and I said that they should find a banjo player, I think. But they said, no, you should come, and were patient with me while I actually figured out how to play the thing.
Chris, did you have any mentor that got you into music originally?
I didn't really have a mentor per se.
Was your family musical?
My dad listened to bluegrass. I remember listening to bluegrass, going to Sunday church, and I hated it. The sound of a banjo just made me cringe. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Still does sometimes.
Yeah. And now I'm stage right with this guy. No, I got away from it. I kind of went through a bunch of influences. Was in a punk band in high school. Went to college. Started listening to Bob Marley and
Punk
got
bluegrass.
more into the classic stuff, Zeppelin and the Beatles and the Doors, and then
a little bit of everything there.
Yeah, and then found my way to the Grateful Dead and that old bridge from Jerry to Old and in the Way, and like Taylor. Me and Taylor had, I think, pretty similar upbringings, minus the hip hop. I was.
I did not really listen to that much hip hop, for the record. I just
He's
heard
backpedaling
I just
here.
heard
He's
that
backpedaling.
one album and was like, man, that's cool, that upright bass.
I mean, yeah,
But maybe a little.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love some hip hop, but no. When I was growing up, it was like Yonder Mountain String Band. I think that was the pivot point for me when I realized that bluegrass isn't so bad after all. Like, I think I just pushed it away because my dad listened to it.
My dad listened to polka. If I'd have gone that way, wouldn't be in radio probably.
Yeah.
But Tom, other than your father, was there somebody in high school or college or whatever that steered you towards what you're doing now?
Probably the same people like Tony Rice and Garcia and Grisman and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No personal mentor in your family or friends?
When I
Teachers?
first started playing electric guitar, Matt Lynch kind of showed me the ropes on that and what to do there. He's a pretty brilliant guy. He can plug into an old Bassman and make it sound like nobody else.
Gotta love those old Fender amps.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying that
YouTube Academy. So I just,
honestly, you never
watching videos
nobody
of Edgar
personally
Meyer.
in school or anything like that. You
I
just
would
did
say
it on your own,
a few years back, I took some lessons with Eric Tureen, who's a great guy. I was just hanging with him last night and just saying how I need to go revisit with him again.
Tureen.
One of the best bass
Yeah,
players.
a lot of people in town have worked with him, and
he's stolen many a gig. There's a song about that. Tureen, Tureen, don't you take my gig from me, Tureen.
Chris, how about you?
I suppose my mentor would be Sally Van Meter, who produced our second album. What? Is that funny?
No. I said Snoop Dogg probably.
Oh, Snoop Dogg, yeah. Other than Snoop Dogg, of course. But Sally, she's just brilliant. She's still to this day one of my favorite dobro players, and she kind of just showed me basically everything that I was doing wrong on dobro, and which is very
That's a good
helpful,
thing.
because you don't really necessarily know. And I'm still trying to correct a lot of it now, so
Sometimes just a simple lesson or tips and points from a good player,
exactly
A few whacks
better
on the
than any
knuckles.
video that
with
you
the
could ever
blower.
watch, So
yeah. But she lives in Lyons, so any young dobro players out there,
Speaking of
she is
that,
a great resource.
are any of you guys teaching? Have any outside jobs in addition to what you're doing now?
I teach a little bit. I 12 weeks ago had a beautiful baby girl, so I'm teaching a lot less now. That was the thing that I decided I didn't have time for.
What's her
anymore.
name?
Her name is Ferris.
Beautiful.
And I also build custom guitar amplifiers. So
Wow. And where can people get information about that?
McClostone.com. McClostone Amplifiers.
.com.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
I have some side hustles. I do like video and audio production and photography and stuff, and also teach on the side a little bit. But yeah.
Yep, I also teach dobro, so if anybody
And where
is
can people get
interested,
information about that?
just check me out on Facebook. Look me up. It's Chris Zink, so
ZINK?
ZINK. Yep.
Yeah, I teach bass as well. Bass students are hard to come by, but when they're around,
Taylor
hit me up.
Shuck,
That's right.
Facebook, website?
Yep, Facebook, all the stuff. pretty easy to find me. And then I work at Grace Design, building some of their fine products as well. So,
Tom, do you teach guitar?
No, but I like to barbecue.
All right. Everybody wants barbecue lessons. Tom Knowlton.
Barbecue. Yeah, you
I
bring
don't
the meat.
teach that either. You can go to Google or YouTube for that.
Well, if they brought you
Come over though.
if they brought you a big piece of pork and said, "Tom, how do I cook this?" you would do it, right?
Absolutely.
For a portion of it.
Hit me up on Facebook.
Well, it's been a
find me on
pleasure.
Tinder.
Been a pleasure speaking with Woodbelly today. Tom Knowlton on guitar, Chris Sink on dobro, Aaron McCloskey on banjo, Taylor Shuck on bass, and Chris Weist on mandolin. We've got just a couple of minutes left. I would like to thank Andy Howes on the sound today and Chris and Eric with Fort Collins Public Media. They're always doing a great job on the video. Great Big Skies, bottles.
We got one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might do. We might skip to the last one here.
Okay,
to go
bottles.
to- yeah,
Why
go
don't
to
you
the bottle.
fill us in? That's an interesting title. Where'd that come from?
I wrote that in January of 2020.
You're checking out a few bottles at the time?
I checked out too many and had to go to rehab, so I wrote it in rehab. So this is my getting better tune.
All right. Thanks for joining us today on Live at Lunch with Woodbelly on KRFC 88.9 FM, streaming live at krfcfm.org. And we have a wonderful YouTube channel, which is RadioVision, KRFC 88.9 FM. Please check it out and subscribe.
The memories of you still hold my mother. She cannot get you off her mind. I loved you a little more than I loved myself. I gleaming in your eyes as you rest upon my shelf. I've always got you by my side. This shade's hide a pain down deep inside. I know you're gonna take me to my grave. Funny how I'm so ashamed to be your slave. Going into town, another bottle down. I'm gonna find another one that's just like you. I will take you home where we can be alone and drown out the memories of yesterday. Here I am, my family all around me. You've done what they told me you would do. 100 roses on my coffin, and my mother crying over you. Going into town, another bottle down. I'm gonna find another one that's just like you. I will take you home. We can be alone and drown out the memories of yesterday.
whiskey bottle down, boy. Don't you let it take a hold of you. You're 100 roses on your coffin, and your mother crying over you. And your mother crying over you.
Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch, and thank you to the Music District here in the heart of Fort Collins, Colorado. Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker studio. If you'd like to appear on Live at Lunch, email our music director, David Vacek, at david@krfcfm.org.